her on International Women's Day. She was our very first speaker. I also have Zoe Baraka with me, a storyteller, filmmaker, motivational speaker. She's also head of Sunny Productions here at Sunny TV, and also co-author, which is why we're here today. She's here today because she will not wake up to come here to do the work I do at this time of the day. Also co-author of Letters of Hope to My Younger Self. And they're not here alone. They are with, how do I describe Avonsige? One of the great people who made it onto their list for the book. She is a fashion designer, and she looks like a fashion designer. She came in dressed like a fashion designer. You've got to check her out. Join us on Facebook. We're also on YouTube. All right, and remember to share the link. Ladies, good morning, and it's great to have you join us on the iMDrive.
Thank you.
All right.
It's an honor to be here.
Awesome, awesome. I've been looking forward to this day. Zoe and I have been talking about Letters of Hope to My Younger Self for a while, and some questions I did not ask her then. Today I get to ask her on her radio. Zoe, sometimes when I speak to the musician, I ask them, well, what inspired this song? Sometimes I was in the bathroom, I was praying. I hear all sorts of stories. Zoe, at least I know you're the one who called ABBA.
Yes, I did.
What was happening at the time you were thinking, let's do? Were you also drinking a cup of coffee? What was what inspired Letters of Hope to My Younger Self?
Oh goodness, I wish it was as simple as drinking a cup of coffee, but no.
Okay.
So during COVID, we all know there's a lot of people who are going through just difficult times, and ABBA, who is a connoisseur of hope, we have a group that we call ourselves the Hope Siblings, and we started to do something called Brewing Hope, right?
Okay.
And so I think it was maybe every month or every 2 weeks or so we would go online onto My Younger Self, and we would just try to inject hope into our society. And one day after the show, because we're kind of like siblings and we were talking a lot, I mean, we're all in different cities. One of us, two of us were in Ghana actually, Ama Duncan and our Hope brother Elikem, and I don't know what happened, but then they had said that we should do a collaboration together because we just like to tell stories so much. Everything Dear ABBA has a story. Everything Dear
So you to
Zoe
everything you have a story. You always have a story too.
So then they were talking about collaboration, but it kind of didn't happen because we got busy with work.
Okay.
And then there came a time where I lost my job, and I was home. It was, COVID was just beginning to wear off a bit. I was bored, I was nervous, I was panic attacking or whatever. And then one morning, I just felt like this collaboration thing our Hope siblings were talking about might be a good thing. I took time to pray on it, and then I said, you know what, I'm just going to call ABBA and say, hey, what's up? Do you think we should do this? So I called ABBA. It was early in the morning, right? Was it?
ABBA, when that call came through, what was your response?
Oh, immediate yes.
Okay.
Immediate yes. Yeah. For a couple of reasons. Number one is that it's an idea that actually my husband and I had about 15 years prior. We're thinking of writing a book called On Shoulders of Giants. Oh. And then at the time, our kids being young and life getting in the way, that never happened. So when she told me, immediately I had that inner witness that said, you know what, this is the time. I think also in life, it's important that when you know what your purpose is, it helps with decision making, if that makes sense.
It does.
And so for, like Zoe had said, I was an author of a book called Reflections of a Hope Monger. As a mental health professional, I recognize that hope is an important ingredient in life. When people are depressed and even contemplating suicide, the thing that happens to them is they lose their hope. And so for some time, for 3 years prior to even beginning to write this book, I had been talking about hope. That was my platform, because hope is what brings resilience. The science of hope, right? Actually, the definition says hope is the belief that tomorrow will be better, and that I have a role to play with it. So when I began to use hope as my platform, it is that, okay, whatever happens, okay, what wisdom can I get to make me believe that tomorrow will be better?
Tomorrow can be better.
Even if what happened was not a good thing, And so, that's why. So when she said, let's do this thing, and it's about hope and encouraging leaving a legacy, encouraging people to dream for a better tomorrow. It wasn't even a thing to even spend time.
You had been birthing it right there. It was just ready for the perfect timing.
Indeed, yeah.
Zoe, so Abba says yes, and how did you take off?
Let's just say I am a creative who is very flamboyant in my words, and I don't have structure at all.
You don't?
I hardly ever really have structure.
Okay.
And I think God just kind of figured that. I like to just put a mic on people and go tell me a story or something. But my goodness, I don't think I'll ever stop saying this. I think this book is definitely Abba's baby more than it's actually mine.
Okay.
But more than that, Abba is a very structured, very on-the-go, calculated.
Okay.
My goodness, if I could have like a quarter of her structured mind, I think I would have probably been a Nobel Prize winner by
you
now.
would have,
really.
Zoe.
And so, to be honest, I probably would have still been dilly-dallying if I went to another creative. Not to say that Abba is not a creative, because she really is, but she is a different kind of creative. And so all the Abba's checklists, man, oh my God, the spreadsheets.
Okay.
And I never ever use a spreadsheet, ever. But Abba's spreadsheet and checklist and the double checking and the fifth checking, sometimes I'm like, dude, did we not just check this?
Check this.
Yeah, let's do it again. It is like the back to back to back. So to be honest, right from jump, I have a mental image in my mind where I'm like, I'm the little girl who went up to an adult and said, hey, I want to go to the beach side. And then when the adult says, let's go to the beach side, I'm now like struggling. And she just grabs your hand and goes, we're running to the beach. And that's how it took off.
It's taking off.
It's scheduling of meetings and scheduling of Zoom, calls between the two of us. It's platforms we're using, whatever it is. To be honest, I don't think I can ever go anywhere and say we did an equal job. We certainly didn't. Abba took it and
She ran with
like
it.
the wind, and I was like,
you were trying to catch up. I was thinking that you must have had a list of hundreds of people, if I am right.
yeah.
How were you able to get it down to the numbers you had or you featured in the book?
First of all, you're right.
Okay.
There's so many more people we wish we could have included in this project,
Oh, so many.
So many more people. I think for us, in coming up with our criteria, we look for people who were making a positive impact. And oftentimes, these people were successful. It doesn't mean rich or super rich, but they were successful people having a positive impact. And yeah, we put it together, and it was tough having to. In fact, the truth is that we thought, we didn't know people would buy into their vision. So we had said, if we get 15 people, we'll put this book together.
Yes.
But one thing we noticed about people who I'll call impactful, successful, they want to leave a legacy. So when we reached out to them, again, they didn't have to think too much. It was like, yes, we'll help you. Yes, we'll help you. And how did we end up at the number we had? It was Zoe who said to me, Abba, let's stop now.
No, but then
So then was increasing.
People was like, let's stop now.
Okay.
Somebody said to us, did you choose 39 because the number of books in the Old Testament?
No, nothing like that.
It's because Zoe said, Abba, stop.
It's okay.
39.
It's okay.
Because it was a lot of work. We gave them a prompt. We said to them, listen, think about a time in your life when you went through, you faced an obstacle or faced a crossroads, and knowing now what you know about life, write a letter of hope to your younger self. They wrote the letters, amazing letters, and then we brought them in and interviewed them. We asked for 20 minutes. Almost all of the interviews were an hour.
It would be an hour, because these are people who've achieved so much.
Yes, of gold nuggets of wisdom.
Right.
And so therefore our process of writing then was to take their letter and then also listen to their interview and then take more gold nuggets and write an introduction. That was very labor intensive.
That was intensive. No, Abba, you got to tell them how we did that. So I'm so sorry, but we had this platform called Otter that would would transcribe the entire interview. So some of them
Good.
who came on, Avonsige and everybody, some of them, I think the least person we had was about 35 minutes. Everybody else was over an hour, 2 hours. Now, Otta would transcribe the whole thing, and Abba and I would sit and listen to Otta, like word for word, literally paragraph by paragraph, and then we would call out what we want to
sometimes
say.
we'll highlight the thing as a ticket.
Yes.
Okay.
And sometimes we would have some heated debates, like, no,
Okay.
is that grammatically correct? No. And Otta is an American platform, and so sometimes, because some people have African intonations, accents, or whatever, it would totally transcribe the weirdest thing that you ever heard, and we would go, what was that? What was that? So that was, I think that took more of our time than anything else.
And also, actually, sometimes in the interview, we'd have wisdom, but then, okay, did it fit with the theme of their particular chapter?
Okay.
But anyway, nevertheless, it was labor intensive, but absolutely inspiring to get this wisdom. I feel like the period of time we spent talking to these people was such a cathartic. I don't know the words to use. It was like we went for some kind of
it was a master class.
A master class. It was like a whole year having a master class of wisdom and mentorship. Yeah.
So how long did it take for you to put this together, generally?
So eventually, we went back to work. I have a full-time job as a psychotherapist, and so we had to carve out 2 hours a day to do this.
Every weekday, every Monday to Friday.
It took us a good year and a half. It wasn't a quick process. We didn't even know I didn't know about AI. Maybe I would have been tempted.
We didn't. But
so zero AI in there.
Zero AI.
Everything was hard work. We had no team. It was Zoe at the beginning anyway. We had no team. It was
just us. And in the middle, there was a lot of traveling too. Abba had traveled to Ghana. I was moving entirely from one state, like New York to Minneapolis. It was just...
So were there times the meetups you had were physical, or most were virtual, or all of them were virtual?
No. Zoe and I met in person for the first time.
With the people you wrote
launch.
about? Okay.
At the virtual launch.
At the virtual launch.
At the virtual launch. We had not, for a year and a half,
the book was done
we
and
wrote
dusted
a whole book
before
together.
Yes.
And we had not done this.
You've not felt your skin. But that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That you two were able to do that.
Yeah.
But let's, so to the people you featured in the book, I just wanted to know, was most of the interaction virtually or somewhat physical?
Everything was virtual.
All of it, okay.
I was sitting in Florida. She was sitting first in New York and then in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And most of the people were in Ghana. And then
but there were times you were sitting in Ghana.
Well, the times I was sitting in Ghana, yes.
Let me get to Avonsige. She is a fashion designer, and CEO and founder of Avonsige Fashion House, founder of Avonsige Runways for a Cause. It's nice to meet you. I was reading about what you had written in the book this morning. How did you feel when Abba and Zoe reached out to you? Did you ever think that you'd be featured in a book like this?
It's surreal. The feeling, I'm still trying to, get myself into the whole, feeling. It's just, I never in my life ever thought that I would ever be featured in a book like this. Not even just any book, but an inspiring book.
An inspiring book.
Yes. It was Zoe who reached out, and she was like, Avonsige, I know I've read about some of the stuff you're doing. I think it's absolutely amazing, and I would love for you to, we're writing a book, and I think your story will fit, into what we're doing. I was like, at first I was like, I'm a small girl sitting in my corner, like, what am I doing that is making you think that, and then they explained everything to me. They scheduled the interview, and it was just amazing. Even me at that point, when I started telling my story, that's when I started realizing that, okay,
You have done something.
I have done something.
And so tell us some of these things that you've done to impact society that made Zoe reach out to you.
So, I'm just a very humble northern girl. I was
Small girl, I'm sure you would add.
I was born and raised in the northern parts of Ghana, Bolgatanga to be precise. And I grew up in an era where, when you talk about the arts, wanting to do arts, it's kind of like the people around you are more like, oh, why don't you do science? Do science. You know, these are just to give you more opportunities when you grow up. But I always knew I wanted to do arts. And funny enough, my parents were educationers, like they were in the education field, so they understood. And I'm coming from a family of 4. I have 3 siblings.
Okay.
And the first 2 were, you know, they were science, you know, oriented and loved the science. And the third girl happens to love the art. So, I mean, my parents didn't mind. They understood.
They understood
that, you know, every child is different, you know. So they kept pushing. But the forces around, the extended family members they were trying to bring, you know, give me problems and all of that. But I managed to, you know, sail through. And so for me, the point at which, you know, I felt like my story would relate to a lot of people was during my senior high school days. You know, I moved from the north to Kumasi St. Louis Senior High School, and there was a lot of I faced a lot of discrimination in terms of, oh, you're coming from the north, they'll ask you certain questions you don't even understand. We hear you sleep on trees. Song came out, are you like, when you start singing a song, you'll be like, you know the song,
you also know the song.
Comments like that, and it would just kill you inside. So I mean, at that point there was so much going through my mind. Like, one, the fact that I wanted to do art, and then people thought that, you know, you should be doing science, and plus you get to that particular space and then people are beginning to look down upon you, so it kills your whole spirit and your vibe.
I saw in one part of your letter where you talked about reading visual arts, and it appeared some of the people you're sitting with in class were disappointed science students who had to still find a course to read, so were there.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and I know a lot of
because
people
they
can
love
relate.
visual arts. Yeah. I mean, I was just like, yeah, you kind of, I got that vibe a lot growing up with some friends who were doing visual art, not because they wanted to,
No,
it's like,
because they
let's
wanted
get through
to.
school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that was my first choice, so I felt disrespected. I'm like, no, you can't look down on the arts like that, you know. And
Can I just
Yes, Abba, please do.
I think one of the things the book highlights is it's so important to match.
Abba, can we have the microphone
sorry.
just right in front
One
of you?
of the things I think the book highlights is it's important to match people to their talents and their interest of study. It's almost a waste of resources for someone to take a course just to get through something, you know, because we came to the world to make an impact.
Which is why I highlighted one line from her letter, which was, find your unique path and pursue it. I mean, that stood out for me. I don't know whether that was the major highlight for you as well, find your unique path. And so how do you feel about how far you have come? What's been the response from friends and family who saw you featured in Letters of Hope to My Younger Self?
they are all in awe. They cannot believe it. The calls I'm getting, the text message I'm getting, and even to be here today, you know, I put it up on my status and people are texting me, oh wow, like this is really happening. I said, yes, it's happening. And because of you know, what I went through, I know deep down in my heart that my story is going to touch a lot of lives, and people are going to be able to relate to it more, you know, because as I sit here, I mean, I can boldly brag that I am the first designer I'm the only designer in Ghana. How do I even put it? The first.
I can give you time to put it together.
Yeah, let me put it
say
together. I want to make sure I put it down together, you know. So the only, you know, I have been able to create the very first fashion film in Ghana.
Okay.
And yeah, that's credit to my name, my brand, and the fact that I am very passionate about the people back in the north.
Okay.
I understand what it is to grow up in the north, you know, and so I have taken it upon myself that, okay, the fact that I've come this far, don't forget about your people. So as I said here, I have a charity, Avonsige Runway for a Cause. Now, the Runway for a Cause is a project that, you know, every year, every collection that I produce, that goes through the runway process, and I mean, every year we have to do a runway and everything. So at the end of the year, we just recreate those pieces into Christmas clothes, and then we give them to orphans in Bogatanga, and also select certain orphans within underprivileged communities, and then we solicit for funds and create new school uniforms for them. So as I sit here, we have been able to create about 300 new school uniforms for children in underprivileged orphans
That's wonderful.
in Bolgatanga, in the northern part of Ghana.
And clearly, your experiences, I'm sure it helps you in your mentorship journey for children, as was reading about. Zoe Naba, can you mention some people who are featured in the book for those listening at home? They're wondering, okay, Avonsige is in. Who else could be in Letters of Hope to My Younger Self?
We can do that, and then I do have a comment to make about Avonsige.
Sure.
But yes, we have many, many amazing people. We have lawyer Robert Ni Ade Clegg, neurosurgeon Dr. Teddy Totime. We have a gentleman called Mr. Peter Akwabwa, and for people who listen to international news, about 2 weeks ago, Peter was made the head of Fannie Mae in America, the chief operating officer. That's a huge deal for a Ghanaian to come in, a huge financial institution. He's been made the head of that. We have Mrs. Lucy Quist. We have Reverend Ekuya of Oribuating. So you want to mention a couple more?
All right, Zoe.
Yeah, absolutely. Reverend Father Andrew Campbell is on there.
Yes.
We have Mrs. Mary Asabi Aishan, or rather Dr. Mary Asabi Aishan. Kofi Otutu Edulabi is on here. Matilda Emisatha is on here. We have our fathers on here.
Your fathers.
Our fathers are here.
Yes,
Esan Kuma.
Okay.
Yes, Esan Kuma is on there.
So a great list of people.
yeah,
A great list of
great
people.
list of
Yeah.
people.
And let's talk about the upcoming. Oh, about your comment about Avonsige before we get to the launch.
I want to say a couple of things about Avonsige.
Sure.
And when she talks, it reminds me of this visual where if I take a small bottle of perfume and I spray just a spritz, it's just a spritz that comes for like a second, but I tell you, it will eventually fill the whole
fills the
room.
room.
And that's how we're supposed to live and leave an impact and leave a legacy. And when we are living impactful lives, it speaks even louder than the person that we are. And I'm saying that because I was shocked. Avonsige, the thing she does,
socks out.
her brand, I was expecting a 6 foot tall woman. So I was shocked when I saw, and yesterday when I met her for the first time in person, I could not stop talking about how petite she is. So now I have we have a thing. I call her a small girl. What do you say?
Big God, big brand.
That's awesome. I like
Small
that.
girl.
Big God, big brand.
That's awesome. That's
it.
awesome.
You know, when we live the lives God has called us to live, you know, what comes out of us is so much
It's
bigger.
so huge.
Bigger,
Yes.
greater,
You know?
Yes.
better.
Indeed, and that's why this book is so important. For anybody reading it, it's like 39 amazing mentors.
I was reading the one about the doctor who was told he had epilepsy,
Yes,
then he
yes,
graduated into
yes,
something else,
yes.
and I was getting to the end of the story, and I was just smiling. Thankfully today I got driven to work, so I was reading. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing.
It's amazing, and he was telling us he gets stopped at functions. He was told that a particular woman who watched our virtual launch could not stop crying while she was listening to it because her own child, you know, suffers from a medical condition. And so she asked him, please, can you meet my child? So he sent us a message, listen, your book is touching people in so
you
many
have no
ways.
idea
You have
about,
no
yeah.
idea.
I mean, there's no way you pick up Letters of Hope to My Younger Self and not be encouraged or inspired in some way or the other. There is absolutely no way. Let's know about the launch. Let's get into that. When is it?
Go ahead. Zoe.
Yeah, so
Sure. So the launch is it's actually tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. yes.
It's tomorrow. It's at the Signature Gallery over in East Legon. Or if you want more orientation, it's really like around Tetekwashi, thereabout, but it's in East Legon.
It's that magnificent building around
It's that
Tetekwashi. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They happen to have like a gallery there,
Okay.
and we are privileged to be able to be in that premises to have the launch. It's going to be an incredible one. We are very lucky because at least 17 of our contributors will be there.
That's awesome.
And to be honest, for those who couldn't make it, is because they live in other countries or
they had to
they
travel.
had to travel. And those that had to travel still made an effort to either meet us before they did their travel or
Awesome.
something. I mean, it's incredible. And we promise you a fun lunch.
Oh,
It's
okay.
going
It's
to
gonna
be
be
a fun one.
inspiring.
This is the first time I'm hearing hearing about a fun launch.
Oh,
so
this one
it's gonna be
you're just gonna be so shocked.
Okay.
It will not
Yeah.
be bored. It will be you come out with if you don't have goosebumps, then
Oh.
you didn't come to
If
our
you were
launch.
charging a
You're
gate
listening to this. I'm
fee-
sure you don't want to miss out on this launch. So what time tomorrow?
It starts at 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
Yes,
tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
At the
so-
Signature Apartments Art Gallery.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
Legon.
with this launch, though, I wanted to mention quickly that one of the things, or the biggest thing we wanted to do, is to make sure that we're trying to get 1,000 copies of this book
Okay.
to young adults out there.
gift to young
You know,
adults.
people ask us who should read this book, and initially we had thought it would be like one of those books where people between, you know, if you're 18 years and older, you can read this book. But as it turns out, 8-year-olds can read
My
it.
daughter would read this book and
Yes.
tell me, "Mommy, I finished. I need another book." I mean,
Yes.
she
8-year-olds
would
can
finish
read this
Yeah,
book,
she would
and my
love it.
marker is that my nephew, who's in Geneva, like he literally put earphones on and just
Yeah.
finished the book.
Yeah.
Like he just was flipping through it, and then he can tell you some of the stories, right? So 8-year-olds can read it. I mean, as long as you can string words together, it's so well put together, and you know, this is like a humble brag, right? But it really is so well put together that you can actually read it. And so we want 1,000 young adults to be able to get their hands on this book. We understand that for 1,000 young adults, getting a book like this in this economy might be a little bit of a challenge in one way or another. And so we're asking everyone who can afford it to pay it forward.
Okay.
Just pay it forward. And so listen, you have an alumni, you know, the Accras, Fancyman girls.
Stop signs.
Oh, you're a
yes,
stop
and
sign.
you know, Jen, what's yours?
Rosa.
Rosa, you know, the Wegehe, all of that. You know, just say, okay, I want 10 copies sent in either my name or in the name of a group I belong to, in memory of my mother. Like, we wrote this book because of our mothers, right? We have such a strong connection because we've both lost our mothers and so on and so forth. And so just do that. Say, I'm going to send 10 copies. It's at a discounted price. So we have like a legacy of hope price tiers. So if you have 1,000 Ghana cedis, you can get the book into the hands of 10 young people in Ghana.
Cool.
Right? If you have 3,750 Ghana cedis, you can get the book into the hands of 25 young people in Ghana. If you have 7,500 Ghana cedis, you can get the book into the hands of 50 young people in Ghana. And because we're a people of faith, listen, our Father is the person that owns a cattle on 1,000 hills. So if you have 15,000 Ghana cedis, you can get the book into the hands of 100 young people in Ghana.
And
right?
I see my mentor is also featured in Edith
Ooh.
Yof Bukari.
Yes.
She's watching. I'm just realizing she's been watching
my
us.
goodness. Oh, we love Edith. Oh, my
Hello,
Lord.
Edith. Edith also has a story.
Yes.
I saw her letter as well, and she
Yes.
says, Abba and Zoe, phenomenal women, just love them. Great to hear them speaking about the process of birthing letters of hope to my younger self. I had to take you for me to see Edith watching us today. I haven't seen Edith watch us in a while. And Abba Yobuaba D. Cranto says, the informative storytellers. Kete Craig GH, okay, I'm not getting your comment though, but let me just quickly get to Abba, a quick invitation to all of our listeners, and also Avonsige, I'll get you to throw a quick invitation out to everyone watching us or listening to us, right? It will be great to be a part of the launch of Letters of Hope to My Younger Self. Abba.
Sorry, say it again. I
A
didn't
quick
understand.
invitation why everybody needs to be a part of this, or you encourage them to be a
Oh,
part of this
yes.
launch.
I really think that this book, in fact, we call it a legacy project. This book is like getting 39 amazing people to be your mentors, you know. And for that reason, I think you should get the book, and I think you should come to the launch. Hope should never die. And the quality of hope is that tomorrow will be better.
Yes.
So please come and listen. Please come and participate and leave with an injection of hope.
Amen. Amen. Avonsige, let me just get the microphone to you and let's hear from you. Abba Cato's new petite discovery.
Small girl.
Big God.
Big God, big brand. I like that. I like that.
So, so far, the few stories I have read myself personally, I can relate to a couple of them, which means that there are lots of people who are going through the exact same thing that most of us have gone through. And I mean, I wished that I had this book at my age to have read, and just giving me a bit of hope to hold on to, you know. But nonetheless, I'm grateful to God that He's put me in a position where I can, inspire somebody. And I would always say, this book, every single person, especially every Ghanaian, needs to read it, because the stories are very relatable. Very relatable. And I mean, tomorrow is the launch. Please come and buy and purchase a book and read. For me personally, I am going to purchase some and then take to my alma mater. I'm taking some to St. Louis Senior High. I'm taking some to KNUST.
That's wonderful.
And I'm taking some to Bolga Girls Senior High School in Bolga Tanga. There is no way I'm going to let them miss out on this opportunity. So I feel everybody should get a copy.
One thing I know for sure is that I'm getting this for my daughter. Yeah, I want her inspired by this book. All right, Zoe, Abba, Avonsige, it's been great hanging out with you this morning.
Wow.
Anything you'd want to finally share before you take your leave?
How about you go?
Oh gosh, thank you for inviting us. Thank you for having us, for helping us share the word. And yeah, I think we're grateful. We're so grateful to all the different, as we started this journey, Zoe and I, with just a dream and a desire. We didn't even know what it would take. It was not an easy process, but it's so beautiful, and we are grateful to God that we've come here. And along the line, as for anybody going through anything in life, God will provide you with destiny helpers, because what we're seeing is that, wow, along the way, people just helping us, donating their services. It's just been amazing. It's been amazing, and God is faithful.
God is
and when He's
faithful.
put a dream in your heart, He will see it and be with you for it to be realized.
Amen. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And for me, I think that what I want to leave with, especially Ghanaians and Africans for that matter, the culture of collaboration is such a novel idea. We all want to just be the ones that did it. We all want to be the ones that did it. And I'm always saying, for me, I had a dream, but I had no execution plan. And you need people around you to help you with that. Abba had a dream, and she needed someone to just say, hey, do you want to do this? And then she jumped on it. We need to learn how to collaborate as Africans. If we all just want to make a name for ourselves, we'll never get there. Our publisher, Margie Marge, has a saying that I've taken with me for the last 3 or 4 years I've known her. She says there's enough room at the top for all of us. But we don't have to get to the top by ourselves. We have to collaborate, and this book is a testament of that. It's a collaboration between Abba and I, but it's also a collaboration between the 39 contributors.
Yes.
Contributors.
Every single one of them.
And it's also a collaboration between us and our families, and us and our friends. I've come to know Abba's family like they are my family. I call her father grandpa, and so on and so forth. And I believe that they will eventually do the same. I mean, we found out Abba's sister and my sister look so alike.
They do.
It's like mind-blowingly
Interesting.
scary.
Interesting.
Right? It's so scary. And so collaboration is the way to go as Africans, and we have to learn how to do it. It's a difficult job. We're not the same people.
We're so totally
We're
different.
so different.
Age-wise,
It's ridiculous. Everything. I'm more laid back and kind of like la-di-da. We'll get to it. But Abba is like, let's go.
Let's
And
hit it. Let's hit the roads.
No, most of the time I need that. But sometimes she needs the person that says, chill. It's good.
Yeah.
Not because we're not going to get it done, but breathe a little bit. You need that. You need that. You know what I mean? So collaboration is important. And so I'm telling all young adults, find your tribe. Ask God to bring you your tribe and collaborate. It's important to collaborate, or else we'll become little stars in our own corner when we can become constellations out in the world.
Absolutely. And I think it's also about know your vision, right?
Yeah.
To determine the purpose and the vision, so that when somebody comes, you know, okay, this
It
is
just
a good
weaves
fit.
together
Yeah.
beautifully.
But
Yeah.
Zoe, I love what you said about collaboration. There's another saying, together we can go far.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Big God, big brand.
Small girl.
Big God, big brand.
I will not forget this one. Jessie Press says, hi, Auntie Abba. Letters of Hope to My Younger Self is indeed a legacy project. It really is an inspirational book. What runs through most of the letters to me is they all never gave up, and that is inspiring. You know what? Make it to the launch tomorrow. Even if for some reason you cannot make it, reach out, get copies of the book, be a blessing to someone. Is there any number you'd want to leave out, Zoe? Any
We'll
number you
leave
want
it
to
and
give
post
out?
it, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll post it
okay.
on the
You post it. All right. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming through. Zoe, Baraka, Abba, Cato, and it's great to meet you. My first time meeting her in person, it was Zoom during Zoom International Women's Day. And hey, my fashion brand. Nice meeting you also. Keep listening to Sunny 88.7 FM. I think I'm dedicating this song to you all. It's Royal Roar from Michelle Akins. Yes.
Do you really believe what he says? Just look around us. Can you see what's happening? So sit up, put your arm